Happy summertime, everybody. The living is easy. The fish are jumping, the cotton is high, daddy's rich, mama's good looking.
Boy, oh boy.
It's summertime.
Waxing poetic this morning.
Well, quoting Gershwin anyway.
Yeah.
It is summer 2018 and it can't arrive fast enough. This is Wake Up in Angie Valley. It is Thursday, the 21st day of June 2018. I am Dan Kuntz, your host. Steve Hare, our news director, back in the saddle again.
Went to bed, it was spring, woke up
It's summer.
at 3:07 this
Yep.
morning.
Summer solstice, 3:07, so we're into summer.
Like a true druid.
Like a true. Oh, and by the way, Uriah, the king of Tunk Mountain, is in control. You were out yesterday. You've had some issues with your back.
Yeah, a little frozen back. But,
Okay, you feeling better? You look fine.
yeah,
you
well,
would know.
all things considered.
It's
Everything's relative, I suppose.
Yeah,
you know.
everything's
Yeah.
relative.
Yeah.
It's not easy when you're not here. I'll be straight up honest with you about that. Where's Steve? What do I do? We got through it. We put together a newscast, but it's good to have you back.
Yeah, well, you deal with your little life's challenges, and as you get older, the challenges get a little more steep.
Perfectly understandable, and we have a good team here, and one of us isn't here for whatever reason. We all kind of, we fill in the blanks and do the very best we can. As long as we can get from point A to point B, we're happy.
I had you all scripted out and ready to go.
Yeah, you're fine. You did a great job.
Yeah.
We all, who's kidding who, in this day and age, we all work at home a little bit.
That's right.
Anyway, I do that quite a bit. I mean, I'll be home and thinking about something I want to either talk about on the show or something I had some research, and I'll do it.
Oh, yeah.
Yesterday, I worked on Today in History while I was watching the Yankees and the Mariners play baseball. Maybe that's why I'm such
that was a hard one to watch.
Yeah, well, not for me.
At least the eighth and ninth innings for me.
Maybe that's why I'm in such an exceptionally good mood today. And there's another reason, too. Because when she comes in and she, comes into the building, she's just, everybody's spirits just lift. And I'm talking about Bonnie Orr. My guest today. Bonnie's just a ray of sunshine.
She is. She's wonderful. I love hearing the voice because then I know flowers are blooming.
Yes. Bonnie makes at least 4 appearances every year. We work it around the solstices and the equinoxes. So the first day of spring and fall, the equinoxes, and the first day of winter and summer, the solstices. Bonnie comes in and gives us our gardening tip, and by golly, today is no example. We have a lot to talk about with Bonnie in the second half of the show. As we mentioned before, a great Yankee comeback. Sorry, Mariner fans. We'll have talk about the Mariner baseball when we get to sports. But the Apple Sox stopped their losing streak last night. That's good. So they're back on the right side of the ship. It's Thursday, Pet of the Week, with Megan McPherson will be coming your way in just a few minutes. We also have the obscure holiday birthdays today in history, and everyone is entitled to Mike McNally's opinion. And I took a quick glance at your news, and you got a lot to get to today.
We do. The fire season is now kicked in full gear. Unfortunately. And looking at that forecast, really fire-friendly weather in terms of wind conditions.
It's going to be windy.
Yeah.
We were risking the chance of some thunderstorms last night. They didn't really develop.
No, not here anyway.
They kind of slid by us, but so we're cool with that. Cherry growers are going, whew, thank you very much. But it's going to be windy for the next few days. Forecast details are coming up. You ready to take our tour?
I'm ready.
Let's do it. Courtesy of Localtel Sky-Fi high-speed wireless internet. Let's see what's going on around the Wenatchee Valley on this, the first morning of summer. Batting leadoff, the cross camera.
A little hazy out there this morning.
A few high clouds, a little hazy. It's the longest day of the year. Sun's been up since 5:03 this morning. Won't go down until 9:02.
I can actually drive in without the headlights.
Really?
Yeah.
You have headlights? Headlights. I'm sorry. This little thing in my ear, sometimes it blocks the hearing a little bit.
The bug?
What?
The bug?
Huh?
In your ear there?
Good morning, Wenatchee Valley. Thanks for starting your day with us here, the NCW Life Channel way. And yes, we do have a way. Camera number 2. We do a slow dissolve and we say hello to Kashmir.
Oh, yes.
We call that the Apple Annie's camera because that's on a ridge right above the Apple Annie's mall and complex there and the diner.
Way up high.
Yeah, very high. Very high up there. Wenatchee River flowing properly. Kashmir looking good today. Good morning, Kashmir. When did they get rid of it? Remember, they used to be the early American town of Kashmir. Remember that? When did they decide to stop using that?
I have no idea.
I don't either. But
coming up this weekend, they've got a big weekend.
Founders Day. Yeah, Founders Day. Named after, of course, the founder of Kashmir, Bob Kashmir.
Favorite event at the Founders Day celebration?
The ping pong ball drop is pretty cool.
One. Yeah,
that is pretty cool. Camera 3, and we say good morning and hello to Bailey Goat.
Ooh, a little spider web there in the cam this morning.
That's a pretty high elevation for a spider web. That is Alta Lake that you see to the lower right-hand part of your screen. Of course, the mighty Columbia flowing, and the Methow in the beautiful hamlet of Pateros. What's the latest on the Pateros sign, Steve? Have any update on that?
We're going to have to check in with our Chamber of Commerce. That sign that was devastated in the Carlton Complex fires being redone. So, yeah, we'll find out.
Beautiful view there. Unbelievable. I think you can see Uriah's cabin from there. And camera number 4. Let's do a slow dissolve and say hello to, that is, I want to say, that's not Statement Flats.
No.
Okay, no, wait, let me think here. Let me look. Steve, any ideas?
No, to be honest with you.
My guess is it's a camera that we use, it's a camera that we use a lot, but we've moved it. Uriah, we give up.
Where are we here, Lord Uriah?
That's Hose Landing. Oh, Hose Landing.
Ah, okay.
There you go. So that's just outside of Entiat. Entiat would be a little bit more to your left. And on up the Columbia River and the mighty orchards, Hose Landing. A lot of people mispronounce that.
Hose Landing?
Yeah.
Well, how do they pronounce it?
House, but it's actually pronounced Hose Landing.
Oh, okay.
Because it looks like house, but it's pronounced Hose Landing, named after the discoverer of that rock, Bob Landing. So there is a tour of our valley, courtesy of Localtel Sky High. What are you doing, Steve?
Trying to fix my earbuds so I can hear you.
Oh, okay. From the National Weather, it's summertime. What do? We're here and we're going to work, but we're not going to work.
We're making sausage.
We're making sausage. From the National Weather Service, your forecast is a very summer-type forecast. You notice that yellow round thing that kind of dominates across the board on the top, Steve. That represents the sun.
That's the orb.
Yep. Sunny today, 88, 83, 84, 92. Now, what we don't show graphically is the wind, and I'm going to mention this from an oral standpoint because we don't have it graphically. Northwest wind today, 10 to 17 miles an hour, gusts near 30, Steve. This is today. Tonight, the winds pick up in intensity, 11 to 18 miles an hour. Again, northwest wind, gusts about 30. Friday, as you see there, cooler, northwest wind, 14 to 22 miles an hour. Keeping an eye on Friday afternoon, gusts above 35 on Friday. Into Friday night, where we can see gusts near 40 degrees. Ooh, and you combine that with low humidity, and we're going to see if we can get through Friday night. And then once we get to Saturday, we're fine.
Hopefully, because remember when we had that round of lightning storms come through the area here? As the weather starts to warm up and the winds start to build, you can expect to see maybe some sleepers, some holdovers from that lightning storm.
The National Weather Service has no thunderstorms at all in our forecast, none, but they are a little worried about the wind today through Friday night. One more weather item to get to before we take our first spot break, and this is important. Yesterday's high, 89.
Oh!
We still haven't hit 90.
Sunday maybe is the day, huh?
No, we're going to cool down actually over the weekend. Oh,
really?
Actually, yeah, 92. Yeah, yes. I'm sorry. Yes, we could hit the lower 90s finally on Sunday, but this is as long as I can remember, and I'm almost 40. This is as long as I can remember that we've gone this far without actually hitting 90. Usually we've hit 90 2 or 3 or 4 times.
Now we can ask our old timers out there. You know, is there anything similar to this summer?
Well, let's do that. Anything similar to this summer, old timer? It's 9 minutes after the hour. We're going to take a quick break, provided this show hasn't been canceled. In the next 57 seconds, Steve will have your news. You're watching Wake Up Wenatchee Valley Live this morning from Studio 9 in downtown Wenatchee on the NCW Live Channel.
Red Green's got nothing on you.
RLS Productions presents Concerts in the Gardens held at Omi Gardens this coming summer, featuring the Infinity Project, a Journey tribute band, Too Slim and the Tail Draggers, the Wenatchee Swingin' Big Band, the Peter Rivera Band, and Invisible Touch, a Phil Collins tribute band. The objectives of the series are to increase midweek tourism to the Wenatchee Valley, the development of a world-class series overlooking the Wenatchee Valley, along with awarding annual scholarships to Wenatchee Valley College students. RLS Productions would like to thank their supporters and volunteers for helping make this all possible.
Hello, Wenatchee Valley. Christian Shanlin here with Bay Equity Home Loans.
Let us make your dream of home ownership a reality. We're here to guide you through the loan process every step of the way. Check out our convenient online application. Bay Equity Home Loans in Wenatchee, your home for loans.
Stop on by or give us a call today.
And now it's time for your local news update with Steve Hare.
And on this June 21st, a Thursday, good morning. Here's some of the stories we're following around north central Washington. Firefighters from around the state have been mobilized to respond to the Vantage area, where a large brush fire threatens homes and infrastructure. The so-called Milepost 22 fire burning in sage and brush about 2 miles north of Vantage in Kittitas County started around 5:15 in the afternoon. It had spread to about 2,000 acres as of last night. Level 1 evacuation orders are in effect at this time. Vantage, the town of Vantage, was actually under level 2 for a period of time last night. Kittitas County Sheriff's Office provided these images of the successful burnout operations that occurred last night along Recreation Road. The fire is still active and spreading north of the Vantage Highway. Now, the Vantage Highway will remain closed from Park Creek Road to Vantage to allow fire crews to mop up. Meanwhile, a Type 3 incident management team has taken over management of the fire as of 6 o'clock this morning. The cause of that blaze is still under investigation. Elsewhere, Douglas County Fire District 2 firefighters made quick work of a small grass fire yesterday afternoon in the Rock Island area. Here are some images that we caught from our Sky-Fi cam yesterday afternoon in the 3 o'clock hour. Officials say it started as a vehicle fire located on property off Hurst Landing Road. Crews contained that fire within minutes of their arrival. No structure damage, but traffic along Highway 28, as you can see here, was backed up for a period of time until they got that fire out. A Wenatchee woman's death in Park Lake near Coulee City Friday has now been ruled an accidental drowning. Grant County Coroner Craig Morrison made the determination in a report released yesterday. 43-year-old Daniela Ray Combs was riding in a vehicle with a companion early Friday morning when they stopped to rest around 3:30 in the morning. While her companion slept in the car, Combs apparently walked to the lake's edge and then fell in. Her companion called for help around 8:30 in the morning. When Combs couldn't be found, deputies located her body near the shoreline around 11 in the morning. At this point, investigators have found no signs of foul play. Wenatchee Police Department received word yesterday that a missing woman from Ocean Shores may be in the Wenatchee or the Omak areas. Tracy Ann Lewis, 31 years old, 5'5" tall, 128 pounds. She was last seen at the motel where she had been staying, leaving behind her car and all of her belongings. Lewis may also use the name Rimsey, that's R-I-M-C-E-Y. If you have any information regarding her whereabouts, you can contact the Ocean Shores Police Department or Officer Ron Wilson at the Wenatchee Police Department. Also, at a press conference yesterday in Olympia, our Governor, Jay Inslee, announced enhanced legal aid funding for an immigrant rights group. Inslee said $1.2 million of new funding will go to support Northwest Immigrant Rights Group's civil legal aid services for individuals, families, and unaccompanied minors. Now, the funding comes from a grant program approved last session by the legislature, as well as additional emergency funds approved by the governor. Inslee says civic legal aid is a right of all who enter this country.
This funding will help to make sure that Washington is doing everything that it can do to honor an equitable and fair system in our nation. These funds will be used to defend the rights of immigrants and to help children and parents navigate this complex maze in order to reunite their families, as it should be. I thank Jorge Barone, who's here today, and his staff, and many others who are working tirelessly to support refugees and immigrants in our state, many of whom who are the victims of the gang violence that we hear so much about from the White House.
Now, the governor also used yesterday's news conference as an opportunity to bash President Trump for stopping the separation of immigrant children from their parents.
Now, you may ask, given this, whatever piece of paper Donald Trump held up. You know, he likes to hold these up like a third grader showing off their homework. Whatever that piece of paper says, the question is appropriately asked, should we be confident in an administration that is morally bankrupt, that is a White House that is full of a den of deceit, that lied about what they did to these children, lied about why they did this to these children, and lied about who is responsible for what they did to these children, and lied about what it would take to fix it? And the answer is no. We cannot and should not be confident of the person in the White House who, as of yesterday, was lying about this situation.
In fact, currently there are about 200 individuals, most of them mothers, who are being detained at the Federal Detention Center in SeaTac, while at least 9 separated youth have been placed in Washington state. Elsewhere, the debate over a plan by the National Park Service and the U.S. Fish and Wildlife Department to place grizzly bears into the North Cascades wilderness continues. The plan has been subject of a controversial environmental impact study, which has been strongly criticized as flawed by local government officials in Chelan, Okanagan, and Skagit counties. Chelan County Commissioner Doug England has been outspoken in his opposition to the plan, and he adamantly disputes the science that supports the findings that the North Cascades was ever the bear's natural habitat.
It is not, and the science is certainly not settled in that case. The study that the Park Service put forward indicated anecdotal evidence of carcasses, furs being sold to Hudson Bay trading posts, but those are all on the edge of the area of known grizzly bears. When you look at the old photos, when you talk to the people in Stehekin, when you visit with the trappers, there were never any indications that grizzly bear on a permanent basis were ever there. When you look at the amount of money that the Park Service spent to prove that there was a grizzly bear just wandering around, we just didn't know it. They spent 3 years, and they spent an awful lot of money with hair traps, with doing all kinds of things, and they could not locate any. And so we can dispute forever the fact that it was never here, but it certainly has not been here for a long enough period of time that it doesn't call for reintroduction or introduction of any kind of a species that much of a predator in our case.
However, in an earlier interview with NCW Live News, Chase Gunnell with the group Conservation Northwest refuted England's comments, calling them baseless.
The National Park Service has a website that's sort of the project homepage for the grizzly bear EIS, and there's a background document section on there. And you'll find in that 2 papers from what was the Washington Department of Game that tally historical sightings of grizzly bears in the North Cascades, 230 of them, in fact. So that's a historical look at the issue, including several sightings in the Chelan County area. And more recently, there was a confirmed sighting of a grizzly bear in 1996 near Glacier Peak. So again, it's pretty quick to find the information that shows that those claims by Commissioner England are simply not accurate.
But the grizzly plans, for that matter, are now on hold following a recent congressional action. Last week, the House Appropriations Committee adopted Representative Dan Newhouse's amendment to deny funding for the U.S. Department of Interior proposal. Summer is here, and the warm temperatures, kids of all ages are flocking to the water to cool off and have fun. Thursday morning today, the Wenatchee Racquet and Athletic Club hosting the annual world's largest swimming lesson. Dan Kuntz, my buddy, has more on that.
Children ages 1 to 14 can start the process of learning how to swim at the rack for free Thursday morning at 10:45. Swimming instructor Gabe Stefanidis dropped by a recent edition of Wake Up Wenatchee Valley and told me some alarming statistics.
This is the second leading cause of death in aged 1 to 14.
Drowning is.
Drowning is, yes.
Wow.
And so the thing is that more than 54% of Americans don't know how to swim. Just don't. But they really enjoy aquatics environments. So there's this, unfortunately, there's this kind of fallacy where it's like, oh, well, you know, I'm older or I'm experienced enough. But like you said about the Columbia, if you jump in, that will just take you right away. And so we want to encourage people to at least get some basic level of swim lesson training. And this world's largest swimming lesson is the best way to experience that. At least know that actually, oh yes, I can take swimming lessons. We don't want it to be intimidating. We want it to be easy and accessible to everyone, no matter what. Socioeconomic status does not matter. Everyone should be able to swim.
The lessons are available to any child ages 1 to 14, and there is no cost. Parents or guardians can register their child by calling the Wenatchee Racquet and Athletic Club at 662-3544. I'm Dan Kuntz for NCW Life News.
When did you learn how to swim, Dan?
I don't know. I can't remember. Well, I'm almost 40, so I don't know. I honestly can't remember.
Yeah, I can't remember not knowing how to swim, but I think it was an early age, about 4 or 5 years old.
Earlier the better.
Yeah.
Earlier the better. In fact, Gabe, during our conversation, he told me this was something that just fascinated me. He's a professional, licensed, swim instructor. That's what he does for a living. And he told me the story. He had one kid wouldn't even get in the pool. Was so afraid of the water, would not even get in the pool on the shallowest of shallow ends. And now he's a lifeguard.
Yeah.
He just worked his way, got him a little bit more comfortable, and then got him the basics. And then eventually, once he realized, hey, you don't have to work that hard to stay afloat, he had it, and then he was fine from there. It's funny how that.
Yeah. It's like riding a bike, really. You know, once you get over the fear, then there's no problem at all.
But as I mentioned on Monday's show, don't jump in the Columbia. That's just, don't do it.
No. Not smart.
Yeah, not smart at all. The news with Grant Olson will come your way at 5 o'clock, 6 o'clock, and 10 o'clock. 5 o'clock, 6 o'clock, and 10 o'clock. We're going to have a brand new newscast, lots of good stuff for you. We're going to have cameras all over the place today, including watching our beloved leader, Eric Granstrom, getting dunked this afternoon.
Yeah, he's going to be at the dunk tank,
Yep, at Blossom Creek. On Orchard, you want to be there for that. They got a bunch of celebrities. They got Dave Tosh, and they got all kinds of local folks who are going to show up and raise Alzheimer's awareness, and it's something that's near and dear to Eric's heart. He's going to be there this afternoon. We'll have a camera there to watch Eric get wet.
Oh, that'll be fun. That'll be fun. And we'll also have our cameras up at the pool to catch some images of the kids learning how to swim. So.
And don't forget, folks, you have a camera.
Yeah.
You carry one with you all the time.
Yeah.
Your smartphone has a camera, has video. It's great stuff. And if you've got some great video that you think might deserve some airing,
please share
on this television station, please do it. There's lots of different ways to do it. Doing the honors, S. Mitchell Hare.
Yes, you can do it. You can communicate with us on our website at ncwlife.com. At the top of the page there, you'll see a little tab that says Contact Us or News Tips. Share your information there. You can do it on Facebook or Twitter. You can also call us on our hotline if you see breaking news happening. That phone number is 888-6295, 888-NCWL. And of course, you can always write to us on our email at
news@ncwlife.com. Still to come, we got sports, the Obscura holiday today, and history, birthdays. Everyone is entitled to Mike Benani's opinion, pet of the week, and Bonnie Orr in the second half of the show as we celebrate summer with all the gardening do's and don'ts with Bonnie Orr. Still to come. 68 degrees on our way to a high of 88 and a little windy this afternoon. Sports is next. You're watching Wake Up Wenatchee Valley on the NCW Life channel.
It's a free walk-in job search assistance center. It is designed to help job seekers with the tools that they need to find a job. We have partnered with libraries in 5 other cities, providing the same types of services that we offer here, just there.
Just walk in, we have laptops, and we can help you with resume, cover letter.
All of our services are paid for by the revenues earned in our store. Goodwill is just a tool that the community is using to help their neighbors find a job. Goodwill, there's more behind the store.
I'm Grant Olson, and you're watching the NCW Life channel.
I'm Eric Granstrom with NCW Life Sports.
I'm NCW Life News Director Steve Hare.
Catch us on Local Tel Channel 12.
You can watch us on Charter Channel 19 or stream us live on ncwlife.com.
Follow us on Twitter and like us on Facebook.
Where we cover the local high schools, the Wenatchee Wild, and the pro teams out of Seattle.
On Saturday, we have a 90% chance of rain.
Catch it all right here on the NCW Life channel.
Just about 25 minutes after the hour, we're back with sports on this first day of summer. Alex Garcia smacked a home run. The Wenatchee Apple Sox snapped their 3-game losing streak. They knocked off the Walla Walla Sweets last night at Paul Thomas Senior Field. The final was 3-1. Isaac Barrera helped the cause with a double and a run in Wenatchee's 5th league win of the season. Sam Wong earned his first victory in the mound. 6 innings, allowed just 1 run, 5 hits, 5 strikeouts, 3 walks. Good outing for Sam. Travis Stainbook worked a perfect ninth for his 2nd save of the year. In fact, he struck out the side. Walla Walla Wenatchee wrap up their series tonight, 6:35. Yeah, that's right, 6:35, not 7:05. Connor McCord will go for the Apple Sox. The Sweets will go with Ty Heckman. Again, 6:35 tonight at Paul Thomas Senior Field. West Coast League last night to the Les Schwab scoreboard we go, and there you see Trans Tamaro went 2 for 3 with a couple of runs, 2 RBIs. Corvallis knocked off Port Angeles in Port Angeles, 8-2. Cole Profek had a prolific day at the plate for Yakima Valley. The center fielder from the University of California Riverside went 4 for 4, 6 RBIs. That is a good day. A home run, scored 3 runs. And the Pippins knocked off Kelowna. No problems there, 14-6. Zach Needham went 2 for 4 with a home run. Bellingham knocking off Cowlitz, 7-4. Jay Colton's 2-out RBI base hit scored Tristan Alvarez in the bottom of the 10th. Bend beat Victoria in a back-and-forth affair. The final there was 7-6. One Nod League game in Portland. 5 Pickles pitchers combined for a 2-hit shutout. And they struck out 15 batters. They knocked off Gresham 7-0. So there are your standings. As you see on the screen there, the Bells are on top. They are 12-5, 3 games in front of 8-7 Victoria. The Pippins, 3.5 games back, 7-7. Apple Sox struggling so far in the first half. Remember, they do 2 halves in the West Coast League. They're 5-8, last in the North Division. All right, how about those Yankees? John Carlos Stanton completed New York's comeback from a 5-run deficit, a walk-off 2-run home run in the bottom of the 9th inning. And the Yankees beat the Mariners last night. The final was 7-5. Seattle grabbed the lead in the 4th. A single by Denard Span and a 2-run base hit by D. Gordon. They added 2 more in the 5th on a sac fly by Span and Ryan Healy's RBI base hit. Yankees began their comeback in the 5th inning. Aaron Judge had a 2-run base hit. 5-3 in the 8th. Gary Sanchez tied it up with a 2-run home run, and that set up the dramatic goings-ons in the bottom of the 9th inning. Felix Hernandez did okay. He went, he allowed 2 runs, 6 hits, 6 strikeouts. The loss, however, goes to Ryan Cook, who's the one who gave up John Carlos' home run with 2 outs in the 9th. The 2 teams wrap up their 3-game set with day baseball today. 10:05 at Yankee Stadium. James Paxton, the Big Maple, 6-1, will go against Luis Severino. Lots of heat today in the Bronx. After today, Seattle travels to Boston for a 3-game weekend series against the Red Sox. Les Schwab scoreboard from the American League West. Oakland, 5 home runs. They demolished San Diego. The final was 12-4. Charlie Martin and 3 relievers held Tampa Bay to 1 run. Houston wins their 50th of the year. A 5-1 win over the Rays. Texas held on to beat Kansas City 3-2. The Angels didn't play. So Houston's lead to the American League West is now 3 games over the Mariners, 10 over LA. Oakland quietly gaining ground. They're playing some pretty good baseball. The A's are, and of course Texas is in the cellar. We talked about this earlier. Let's do this for Eric. It's all in support of Alzheimer's Association. Go dunk our own Eric Granstrom today. For many people in the staff, it's a dream come true. It runs from 11 a.m. to 6 p.m. at Blossom Valley Memory Care off of Orchard. You can come dunk Eric and other locals. Matt Cabin, Sean Ballard, Dave Tosh, Executive Director of the Wenatchee Valley Senior Activity Center. It's just $1 a throw. 3 throws for $5. You can do what I do, just run and just hit the bar with your hand, and you guarantee it. All helps to help find a cure for Alzheimer's and dementia. For those who doesn't know, Eric's mom has dementia, and his grandfather died from Alzheimer's disease. So there you go. This is a big thing for Eric, so be there. Support him out, all right? Dunk Eric and all the celebrities. Blossom Valley Assisted Living in Orchard Avenue. Eric will be in the dunk tank at about 1:30 or so. The event starts at 11 a.m. today. Okay, that's sports. At 29 minutes after the hour, the time for the obscure holiday of the day today. Today is Daylight Appreciation Day. It's apropos, makes sense, fitting, because today is the longest day of the year in the Northern Hemisphere, being the first day of summer. Natural light is good for you. Studies have shown that having daylight in the workplace increases productivity, it increases work performance, it increases employee retention, employee satisfaction. People who spend all their time in a room lit with bright sunlight tend to be happier than those who work in a dungeon with dark shades pulled down and dim lights and stuff like that. Celebrate the longest day of the year with Daylight Appreciation Day. I feel sorry for people who have to work in an office that doesn't have any windows, and then I realized I work in an office that doesn't have any windows, but I enjoy the sunshine and I get out as much as I possibly can. Today in history, it's June 21st, and today is the 230th birthday of New Hampshire. Happy birthday, New Hampshire. There's the state flag. New Hampshire ratified the Constitution of the United States. Not only were they admitted as the 9th state of the Union on this date in 1788 by ratifying the Constitution itself went into effect on this date. New Hampshire is the Granite State. Their motto is live free or die. The state song is Old New Hampshire. I guess that makes sense. Fun facts about New Hampshire. New Hampshire is the only state that does not require adults to wear seatbelts while driving a motor vehicle. Kids still do, but adults don't have to. New Hampshire has no general sales tax for personal income, which is pretty remarkable. There's no sales tax and no income tax at either the state or local level, and not surprisingly, New Hampshire has the nation's lowest poverty rates. Happy birthday, New Hampshire. 230 years old today. 54 years ago today, remember these names: Andrew Goodman, James Chaney, and Mickey Schwerner went down to help with the civil rights movement down in Neshoba County, Mississippi. They disappeared. Turns out they were murdered by members of the Ku Klux Klan. This happened 54 years ago today. Exactly 41 years later, on this date in 2005, Edgar Ray Killian, who was unsuccessfully tried for the murders back in 1964, was charged and convicted of manslaughter after they reopened the case. But the movie Mississippi Burning, you might remember that, concerns this case, happened 54 years ago today. And boy, was this a maelstrom back in 1989. June 21st, 1989, 29 years ago today, the United States Supreme Court ruled in Texas v. Johnson that burning the American flag as a form of political protest was free speech protected by the First Amendment. That was followed up by a lot of constitutional amendments to protect flag burning. None of them ever came to fruition. Texas v. Johnson, a landmark Supreme Court decision handed down in the state of 1989. Birthdays: Ray Davies, Rock and Roll Hall of Famer, 74 years old today. Of course, rhythm guitarist, lead singer, and main songwriter for the Kinks. You Really Got Me, All Day and All of the Night, a well-respected man. Sunny Afternoon, Lola, Tired of Waiting for You, the great Ray Davies. Rock and Roll Hall of Fame, class of 1990, is 74 years old today. Nils Lofgren celebrates his 67th birthday today. If you've never heard Nils Lofgren's debut album, entitled simply Nils Lofgren, came out in 1975. It's a beautiful record. He's been in Neil Young's band, of course, for the last 30-plus years. He's been in Bruce Springsteen's E Street Band. Nils Lofgren, 67 years old today. Now, boy, this guy's career is just on fire. We're talking about Chris Pratt. Chris Pratt, of course, I remember him from Andy Dwyer on Parks and Recreation. Now he's a leading man in movies. Moneyball, Zero Dark 30, the Lego Movie, Guardians of the Galaxy, the Avengers series, the Jurassic Park franchise. Chris Pratt, life is good for Chris. He's 39 years old today. All right, everyone is entitled to Mike McNally's opinion is coming up on deck. So is Bonnie Orr. Bonnie Orr will be dropping by, my friend from Green Thumbs and Dirty Knees, to talk about all the summer gardening do's and don'ts. But first, let's see if we can get Brianna the dog home. Megan McPherson and Pet of the Week.
Hey guys, Megan here with the NCW Life Channel, and we are here with Renee Parkins, the Development Officer of the Wenatchee Valley Humane Society, and we are also here with Brianna. Can you tell us about Brianna? Hey!
Sure. So Brianna came in as a stray. She is just a really sweet dog. She's got a lot of energy, but once she finally kind of calms down, as you can see, she's just really mellow. She's very treat driven. She already knows how to sit and stay, so it's kind of nice because she's pretty easy to learn commands. I think that she would be really easy to teach.
So how's Brianna with kids and other dogs?
So she does get nervous around smaller children, so we're not recommending that. We're also not recommending smaller animals and cats. She really would be better off in a one dog in a one dog house. She does okay with other dogs, but she just kind of gets timid and scared, and so she should be by herself.
We've lost the dog. Please stand by. All right, we temporarily lost the dog, but she's back. Hi. So if someone were to want to adopt Brianna, what should they do?
We recommend you come down and meet her. We've got lots of meet and greet areas for our pups like the one we're in right now. Play with her, take her out for a walk around our trails, see if her personality matches what you're looking for, and then you can fill out paperwork and you can take her home.
Brianna, do you have anything to say? The Wenatchee Valley Humane Society is located at 1474 South Wenatchee Avenue and is open Monday through Friday from 11 a.m. to 6 p.m. and Saturday and Sunday from 11 a.m. to 3 p.m. Give them a call at 509-662-9577 or visit their website at wenatcheehumane.org. This is Megan McPherson, and that's our Pet of the Week from the Wenatchee Valley Humane Society.
Tacos Chava has something new. Customers at Tacos Chava say it's the best Mexican food around. Nachos, enchiladas, tortas, ensaladas, and introducing camarones in many styles. You'll love the fresh salsa bar with so much selection. Are you ready for Tacos Chava? Find them at 2 great locations, the Wenatchee Valley Mall and Eniac. Tacos Chava, tan delicioso.
Boating certainly has improved over the years. Check out the new Centurion boats with HD touch vision system and built-in coolers. Centurion is loaded with extras to make boating more fun and more comfortable. Get the best out of summer. Get your boat from Bobfile Boats and Motors. Online at bobfile.com and on Sunset Highway in East Wenatchee.
Bobfile Boats and Motors, we're dealing. Bobfile's gonna make you smile.
Hey, this is Mike Mad Dog Magnotti, and everybody is entitled to my opinion. Now, the intersection of death, that's what my wife calls southbound Chelan Avenue at 5th Street. Now, another interesting local intersection is further south, Chelan Avenue at Okanagan. Now, I don't know why, but people really like to run red lights at those locations, so the city of Wenatchee installed 2 of its 3 red light cameras at those intersections. Now, those in charge will tell you that the purpose of these cameras is to increase safety and decrease accidents. Well, those opposed to the cameras say they exist only for revenue. Well, for argument's sake, let's say that's true. So what? What's wrong with an income stream as insignificant as that may be that's produced by driving negligence, either intentional or deliberate? I mean, come on. This ain't rocket science. If you don't want a ticket, don't run a red light. This is Mike Mad Dog Magnotti, and that's my opinion.
Vamanos junk haulers are pleased to announce they've added moving services to their list of ways to make your life easier. Vamanos Moving Service. No move is too big or small. In fact, Vamanos does it all. Vamanos employees are experienced at moving your home, office, business, and storage. They'll carefully load and unload your belongings. And for the do-it-yourselfers, Vamanos also rents trucks and cargo trailers. Call Vamanos junk haulers and moving service today to schedule your free estimate.
Boating is a great way to bring family and friends together. At Bobfile Boats and Motors, they have the boats for any lifestyle: fishing, wakeboarding, or just relaxing on the water. Buying a new boat is more affordable than you might think at Bobfile Boats and Motors. Online at bobfile.com or on Sunset Highway in East Wenatchee.
Bobfile Boats and Motors, we're dealing. Bobfile's gonna make you smile.
We're here to celebrate every season with award-winning dining, full-service spa, and 170 waterfront guest rooms. Come experience our tradition of hospitality at Campbell's Resort on Lake Chelan.
When you call Dick's Heating and Air Conditioning, you get 35 years of experience and customer service in the Wenatchee Valley. Dick's friendly staff strongly believe in repairing before replacing and service all major brands of HVAC units. Dick's Heating and Air Conditioning is your local, independent, trained comfort specialists, proudly serving all of North Central Washington. Call 884-6444 today.
And we are back on this first day of summer. Winter, spring, summer, or fall. All I have to do is call. And Bonnie
I love that.
will be here. Bonnie Orr is with me, of course, the host of Green Thumbs and Dirty Knees, also a Master Gardener, WSU Master Gardener. Bonnie comes on the 2 solstices and the 2 equinoxes every year, and occasionally a surprise visit. Kind of like Bob Hope. She'll just walk on the set. Hi, Bonnie.
Hi there.
Happy summer.
Happy summer.
I'm ready.
I am too. But you know what? We have to think about a fall garden already. Isn't that just amazing? Okay, so.
Because why?
Because the stores are not going to have seeds available for very much longer. And so you have to go buy your seeds now. And in 6 weeks, you'll be planting a fall garden. I will anyway.
So early August, mid-August?
Early August.
Okay.
Peas, beets, carrots, spinach, kale, turnips, parsnips, all sorts of wonderful things. And they will have enough, and lettuces and spinach, lettuces and things like that. You'll have enough time to grow them by the end of October, beginning of November. You know, remember, we haven't had a hard frost until December the last couple of years. Well, then when the snow comes, you mulch everything, and then you go out and you dig through the snow and through the mulch, and the carrots and the beets are so sweet, and the parsnips. So that's why you want to get your seeds now.
How do you, if you're going to go out and buy your seeds now, at the advice of Bonnie, how do you store them?
Oh, you just keep them cool. You just keep them
no problem there.
On a shelf.
Okay.
Not in the garage, probably.
If you want to enjoy something in September and October during the harvest, what do you need to plant now then, I guess, for a garden?
Right now.
Right now.
You know, we are, because we're starting to move into our heat. You could plant things that will grow rapidly. I think it's not too late to plant tomatoes or cabbages or Brussels sprouts. It's too late for lettuce, probably too late for peas. But some of the other crops that will grow rapidly, beans. You know, it's really interesting. Beans are a short day crop, and so our days are too long right now for them to bloom.
Oh.
So I don't think it's too late to plant different types of beans.
Beans, the wonderful fruit.
Yeah.
The more you know, I can't say that on television. You got a lot of photos, and we're going to talk about this in just a minute, but I have a quick question for you. I have a tree in my house. I don't know what kind of tree it is, and I know it's not.
This is the Eric Granston, but it has green leaves, right?
Yeah, it has green leaves. It's not an evergreen or conifer or anything like that. It's just a tree. But over the last 6 weeks, the thing has gone insane. It's got new branches and shoots and leaves. There's one shoot that I swear, and I'm not exaggerating, is growing 6-8 inches a day. Is this a problem, or is this a real happy tree, or what's going on here?
Well, I would tend to think that maybe it is a wild tree, like a Siberian elm or something that somebody didn't plan.
Okay.
You know, but you know, I can't answer that. But you know what you can do?
Go to the Master Gardeners.
You can go to the Master Gardeners, and on Monday and Wednesday from 1 to 4 at 400 Washington Street. You can send us pictures.
And that's what I was going to do.
Chelan Master Gardeners at gmail.com. That's Chelan Master Gardeners at gmail.com. Make sure you include a phone number so we can contact you. Or you can bring a picture to the farmer's market on Saturdays.
And that's what I'll do. I'm going to be at the farmer's market on Saturday. I took my phone and I took a picture of it, and then I went to what kind of tree is this, because I don't, and I completely struck out. So I know your friends, the Master Gardeners, are going to know.
That's right.
So I don't know. It's just going crazy, and I don't know why.
Okay.
I don't know if it found a new source of food.
Well, maybe it's happy with you.
Maybe it's a happy tree.
Somebody has to be happy with you.
That's true.
The tree is going to be happy.
You brought a whole bunch of pictures with you.
I did.
And so here's what we're going to do. Bonnie, you and I are going to use the monitor here in the studio. And you folks at home, I'm going to ask you to please use your televisions and walk us through what we're looking at and why we're looking at it.
We're looking at, it's hot, and the insects are starting to come out. Oh, and they're going to look pretty bad. But I really want to tell you that most insects are good insects, right?
That's the number one thing. You told me over 90%.
95% of the guys are good guys.
Okay.
So if you just want to nuke them all, you're killing the good guys as well as the bad guys. And the good guys are able to help control the bad guys. This is the larva. This is a raspberry. It's a larva of spotted-winged Drosophila, which is a teeny-weeny fruit fly. And this fruit fly doesn't just eat on rotten fruit, it eats on ripening fruit. And so all of these things I'm not going to mention any chemicals on the air.
Okay.
But you can call the master gardeners. Okay, 667-6540, and they can discuss different alternatives, conventional as well as organic. Okay? This little guy here, one of the ways you can control it is by picking your fruit regularly, and so before it's dead ripe, you know, like it be on, the fly will not have laid the eggs, or else the larva will not have developed, and you will not know that you're eating it.
Is that
it's a very serious pest.
Using, and that's a raspberry you told me. Using it as an example, if you plucked a raspberry, does that end its ripening process, or is it like some fruits that continue to ripen even after they're picked?
Well, yes, no. A ripe raspberry is a ripe raspberry.
Okay, as simple as that.
But anyway, this is spotted wing Drosophila. It is a serious pest, especially later in the season. The fall raspberries are more affected many times than the earlier ones.
Keep an eye on them if you got raspberry. Let's talk scale insects.
Oh, these little guys here, these scale insects. Okay, there's the adult scale, and it's enclosed in a little capsule, which, believe it or not, if you spray pesticides on it, it does not kill it because it can't penetrate it.
Is this the soap and water thing that we've done before? Or is this, okay, go ahead.
See these little crawlers? This is what is happening right now on many types of conifers. Okay, these little crawlers are starting to crawl, and you can kill them at the crawling stage. And there are appropriate sprays to use. Again, 667-6540, because they can cause unsightly damage to a conifer, or to arborvitae, or
is it strictly
like
cosmetic, or can they do some serious health damage?
Eventually they can, if the infestation continues for years.
Okay.
Health damage.
Let's talk ladybug larvae.
Oh yes, you know, everybody knows what the ladybug looks like, and this creature, I mean, people are very frightened by this little creature.
Well, look at it. It's frightening looking.
It is really frightening looking, and they want to kill them. This is your best guy with aphids. See, he's eating.
But he's eating one right now.
He's eating an aphid right now. And when you get an aphid infestation, the ladybug comes and lays eggs, which turn into these. And then they just munch their weight in aphids every single day.
Can you go out and buy a jar of ladybug larvae?
No. You know, the thing is, people buy ladybugs, but they always fly away.
Yeah.
Because you have to have exactly the right conditions. First of all, you have to have a food source, and secondly, you have to have moisture. And you know, as they say, God provides. Okay. You know, if you have the right source, the ladybugs will be there. Yeah.
So that's a ladybug larva eating an aphid, and here's what an aphid looks like for you folks who don't know what an aphid looks like.
Oh yes,
they look like those.
People are they are all different colors.
Yeah.
They are black and purple and white and green. And you know, the best way to deal with aphids is to put on a pair of rubber gloves and just rub them off the stem of the rose. Rub them off they're mostly on stems. Their eggs are underneath the leaf, and you can just rub them off. The other thing you can do is a blast of water. But sometimes when you blast the things off with water, you can hurt your plant. Okay? But they can't crawl back up. That's the good news.
Okay.
So just rubbing them off. You know, if you're using some type of a spray, again, you're going to kill that larva from that ladybug.
Aphids are bad because fill in the blank.
They suck the life out of a plant. Okay.
So they're the vampire.
Right, and ants sometimes farm them, you know, and then you'll have an infestation of ants as well as aphids, and that makes it even more interesting. And they also can carry viral diseases.
Okay.
Oh yeah, they are not they're not nice
good.
guys. Not good.
And they're not very attractive either.
Well.
So.
They're kind of cute close up.
Okay. Well, unlike earwigs, which are beautiful little insects.
Oh, earwigs. You know, people are really, really weirded out by earwigs.
Yeah, look at them.
Okay, so can you tell me which one's the male and which one's the female?
The male is on the bottom because the male has those pinchers,
large pinchers to hold on to the lady doing whatever they're doing. Yes.
Yeah. They put on some Barry White music and drink some wine and whatever.
Yes, indeed. So, earwigs are actually a beneficial insect. They do some damage. They are vegetarians, but they are primarily carnivores, and they eat lots of other insects. That's the good news.
Okay.
And sometimes, like people, like an apricot, you know, you open an apricot out and they run out. And the reason that they run out is they're hiding during the day. And so they're hiding from the light. And so many times you see them inside things, but they actually didn't make the hole in the fruit. They actually just appeared for a hiding place. So how do you deal with these? You can put down a piece of cloth, okay, or black plastic, and they can crawl under it, and then you can scoop them up and put them in soapy water, and they'll die. Or you can take like a peekaboo from a toilet paper roll and put that on the ground and cover it, and then pick it up and throw the whole thing in the trash. So you can dispose of them. You can get rid of hiding places for them in your garden or around your place. You know, piles of old wood or places to hide. But anyway, you have to be a little more tolerant of these guys.
But yeah, so they do some. They have benefits, even though they look like that.
Yes, and they do, and they don't get in your ear and chew out your brain, which is this. Isn't that the most amazing thing?
I don't know where that gets. And some of these things can get big. I mean, I've seen these 3, 4, 5 inches long. I mean, monsters.
I've never seen them that big.
We saw one a couple of weeks ago.
Okay.
We put it inside of an old Gatorade jar, and it was huge. It was a male one, by the way. It was male.
Anyway, well, they were.
You would think if you have an insect, Mother Nature would have made it slightly more attractive, so you would be less inclined to smush it.
Right, you would think so, but these are not attractive, are they?
No, they're not.
Not to our standards. Okay, Ben, there is a new nasty bug. And this is a brown marmorated stink bug. These are when they first hatch out, and I just love the little eggs, and see they're in a cluster on the top of the leaf. And notice that when the egg is getting ready to break open, it looks like it has a smile, doesn't it?
It looks like most of my golf balls, actually.
Now, this is what the baby looks, or the immature insect. I should use more precise language. The immature insect, when it first hatches, looks like this. And then, if we go to
the next slide, we realize they go from pretty to pretty bad ugly.
Yeah. They change shape and they change color.
From left to right.
Right.
Then.
And this particular insect it came from wooden pallets from China to the East Coast. And it eats everything. It eats everything. And there are millions of them in people's houses and around people's houses. I mean, it's a terrible infestation in some of the eastern states. And they have just arrived here. We are just seeing them. It's a different stink bug. It has the little white stripes on its antennae. And it has little white marks on the back end of it.
Okay.
But this guy here deserves to be smushed.
Okay,
for sure. Smushing at each one of these stages. Many ways that is the best way to deal with it.
Do they all hang together? I mean, can you smush?
They spread out. They're in a cluster when they first hatch, but then they do spread out.
And they're bad news.
They're very bad news. They eat ripe fruit, unripe fruit. They eat clothing. They eat wood. They blah 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 blah. Bad guy.
But there are good stink bugs.
Well, there are good stink bugs, but they're few and far between. Okay, so this is our new bad guy.
This is the new bad guy.
Terrible infestation. Now, these all look like stink bugs because they are. Okay, so the first one over on the left is the spine shoulder bug, and it has little points on the end. Now, before you smash something, you do have to stop and look at it. Okay. Now this guy here, and he has a black tip on the end, on his end. This guy really eats other eggs and other larvae, other things. So he's a good guy. And then the bad guy, again, is the stink bug who's in the middle. And that stink bug is the one that pokes holes in your tomatoes. And then you get those little white hard pieces in your tomatoes. And the thing is that their eggs are laid underneath them, and you can just turn the
so you have to do a little work to find them.
That's right, and they're barrel-shaped eggs, and they're kind of yellowy or white, and they're in between the veins, and you just rub them off. So the best way to deal with bug infestations, insect infestations, is watchfulness. You don't go to your garden once every 10 days and then be overwhelmed with all of these bad guys.
Every day.
Every day. You go out either with a cup of coffee in the morning or a glass of wine in the evening, and you pay attention to what's happening in your garden.
Let's take a look at.
Go
ahead, please.
The squash bug is the one that everybody complains about because it eats into the stems of various squash plants, all of the plants that are related to squashes. And again, you can stop this infestation by being vigilant.
That's all there is to it.
Yeah.
Any particular time of the day when they're more active and they're easier to find? Or?
They usually are working in the sunshine.
Okay.
Okay. And so in the morning, if you go out early in the morning,
With your cup of coffee.
you can find them. You can find them in the duff under the ground. Their eggs are laid underground.
What are we looking at next here, Bonnie?
Okay, we're going to look at, this is something that everybody is complaining about this week. This is the bud worm moth. Oh, no, this is the worm of the bud worm. Okay. It's a tobacco bud worm, petunia bud worm, geranium bud worm. And this is what your petunia flowers look like, or your geraniums. And they also eat the bud of the flower. And it's laid by a moth, and there's 2 generations during the summer. What you have to do, all you have to do, is just go out and pick these little guys, okay? Because if there's a finite number of them, well, she can lay 300 eggs, but anyway, there is a finite number of them. And you just pick them off, and that stops the infestation, and you hope that you don't get a second generation of moths again.
So that's the worm, and this the next thing is the actual moth. If you don't do anything to it, it's going to turn into this.
That's right. And this is who laid the eggs. In fact, I saw one of these the other day in my garden. You know, I smushed her. Yeah, I didn't want to have her laying 300 eggs.
No, I
okay. But it is, because people go, what can I use a systemic, which is an insecticide which is taken up by the plant? But these are flowering plants, and they are pollinized by pollinators, and pollinators will be poisoned by them.
When in doubt, Bonnie's advice is perfect. Go out and go, should I kill this or not? Take a picture of it, a nice high-definition picture of it. Email it to the Master Gardeners. They'll email you right back, and they'll either say, good bug, don't kill, or bad bug, kill, kill, kill.
Right.
As simple as that.
That's right.
That's what you folks are here for.
That's right.
So, big event coming up in September. I'm excited about this. Talk about this as we bring up the flyer of, and you're bringing in the top gardener out of Disney for this? This is huge. Talk about this.
Okay, so on September, as you can see, September 26th through the 29th, the State Master Gardener Conference is going to be in Wenatchee. And our keynote speaker is the man who designs all of the landscaping for all of the Disney properties. But he's just a really interesting man and has interesting horticultural ideas. And so that will be on Friday night that he's going to speak. But you can learn about pollinators and weeds and firewise landscaping and native plants and organic gardening and lots more. And on July 1st, right now until July 1st, there's a $50 reduction in the price of the conference. It's $199. It includes meals, and the public is invited. And it's going to be at the conference center here, or
One last question for you, Bonnie, in the 2 minutes we have left. If you've ever watched Green Thumbs and Dirty Knees, the first thing you'll find out is gardening is fun. New young couple, new home. Bonnie, I want to have a garden. I think I'd like to just grow things and eat things and that kind of stuff. In the minute we have left, what's your number one thing of advice for newcomers who think, I've never been a gardener before, but I think I want to take a crack at it?
Okay, so we just bought a house that somebody else had gardened in, and we want to do something. Nothing for a year. 1 year. You do not do anything because you have no idea what your light is like, what your evaporation rates are like. You have no idea what actually is going to be growing and blooming and things. And so if you start digging things out or covering things up, you have no idea what happened.
Bonnie is 100% true because the first house I ever bought, I bought it in November. And in March, tulips started popping up all over the place, and I had no idea there were tubers down there.
My favorite story is the people who put down landscape fabric, okay, because they didn't want weeds, and then in April, there's all these pokes coming up because.
And test your soil.
Yeah.
Test your soil. People don't do
things.
that.
But you do nothing for the first year.
That's a great, because something's going to pop up.
You want to see where things are dry and how big things are. Yes. Yeah.
And don't forget, if you want to plant a fall garden in late July, early August, buy your seeds now.
That's right.
It sounds cattywampus on the first day of summer, but it's 100% true. And I got to use the word cattywampus again. Bonnie, it's always a pleasure to see you.
It's a pleasure to
Have
be
a
here.
great
Thank
summer.
you. I plan to.
I'll see you all over the place. I might see you at the farmer's market.
Indeed.
All right. Everybody have yourself a great Thursday. We'll see you tomorrow. Bye-bye.